Are the YieldMax weekly paying dividend ETFs worth it? Do they pay out good dividends? How do they have good total return? Well, today we are taking a look at my portfolio where I bought all 9 of them and I've been tracking their progress. If you don't know, my name is Spencer and I talk all about income investing, primarily with ETFs. And I've been watching the weekly dividends since the inception of many of them well over 1 year ago. So we're going to break down how the returns have been. We're going to check in on ULTY, one of the most popular and the largest by AUM. And then we're going to check out exactly which the best performers are through both the dividend payouts and the overall total return. So I hope you guys do enjoy. If you're interested in weekly dividends, in monthly dividends, in passive income, you are in the right place. Don't forget to like the video and to subscribe. That way you never miss out on all the free content. Let's roll that intro. You probably didn't believe me, but I meant it. I buy all the weekly payers and I track all of their performances. I have over $5,000 in this account solely for YouTube, just so you guys know. I also have some pretty insane news. Today is my birthday. I turned 28 years old and it has been a great day. Cannot complain. Went to work as normal, living life as normal, but something else happened that is just a crazy coincidence. I hit 30,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. 30,000. That absolutely blows my mind. And so I want to take a moment and thank you guys. I made a post about it, but I wanted to thank you guys on here as well. Whether you're new to the channel, whether you're not subscribed, it doesn't matter. Thank you for watching. Thank you for letting me do this as my passion, for educating me, for helping me learn, for working with me on my investing journey, and all in all, just working together as we all want to be rich and retire one day, if not some sooner than others. So I'm really grateful. I hope you guys know that. All the kind words, everything you've said, the motivation, the effort you put in, the time we've spent together with you watching my videos, with me making the videos. It's absolutely amazing. And I am amazed that we have gotten so far at this point. When I started filming 3 years ago, I never would have guessed that I would amass 30,000 subscribers just on one platform. And so again, thank you very much. And hopefully if that didn't scare you off or bore you out of your mind, let's jump into our first ticker CHPY. We're going to look at a lot of things with this account. Starting off, AUM is assets under management, basically the amount of money in each fund from all investors. Then we are going to look at the dividend yield. This is a trailing 12 months yield. And what that means is if it hasn't paid for the full 52 weeks or 12 months, you are not going to get an accurate yield. So for CHPY, for example, this fund yields roughly, I believe, about 40%. They have a trailing 12 months of about 15. So it's not accurate simply because it hasn't paid for the full year. But that's just how Moomoo, this brokerage, uses their data. So what we can see here, CHPY is one of my favorites. I think it is very underrated, but it has taken a bit of a hit. We're going to look at the charts on these, and there's a reason why I do this. I track these things almost every single week. I've been a little lackluster recently, but I'm constantly looking at these, and checking the charts is very, very important, as well as the dividends. I am not a fan when a fund consistently has dividends falling. So we're going to look at the last couple of distributions, which is the same thing as dividends for those that are interested. Just because these are ETFs, they're technically actually distributions, but I call them dividends. We can see the last couple over the last month. So we had almost 39 cents, 40 cents, almost 40 cents, and 39.5 cents. Very solid, relatively consistent. And with GPTY, we know it has that bounce back ability, which I think is very, very impressive. So definitely one I think everyone should watch for. But this next one is also very underrated. Although the chart is not looking the best, ticker GPTY. So our first ticker was on the semiconductor industry. That was CHPY or Chippy. GPTY or GPTY, I don't know what they call this one, but it is on YieldMax's AI and Tech portfolio option income ETF. So we can see AUM of 49.8 million, pretty large, and a dividend yield of 20%. It's probably more than double that. I would imagine it's probably around 40, low 40% range. Now, GPTY did take a bit of a dive at the beginning of the year, which all these funds really did. There were not a lot of the weekly payers that held up, and that's just how it goes. They're a little bit of a higher risk asset. But it did go from the low end of $33 all the way back up to $48 and has now sold back off to $44. So we have seen a bit of a downturn in the market, but we can't complain. We've been in a very, very green market. And I need to specify that right off the bat. We are in a very green market. Just because some of these have been doing really, really well is likely due to the fact that our market has been so unbelievably great. So don't look at these and go, oh, they're going to make me rich no matter what. No, in a red market, these things get destroyed, as do a lot of income ETFs. I'll just say that. But last couple of distributions that we can see, we had 30 cents, we had 30 cents, we had 31 cents, and 29 cents. So actually GPTY yields a little bit less than CHPY. That one's probably about a 50% yielder. But all in all, I am impressed with GPTY's price movement. Although it's been in a downward trend, this one has shown that it can bounce back. Not a lot of these ETFs can do that. It's a very important metric. And this next one really needs to bounce back. It's one of the highest yielders on this list, but is extremely beaten down. Of course, I'm talking about ticker LFGY. The high yields come at a cost. LFGY yields around an 80% yield, I believe. We can see the AUM 185 million, slowly dropping, I will say. It was above 200 million last time I did a video, and the dividend yield of 45%, which is probably closer to, like I said, 70, 80%. But my goodness, in a red market, this thing just tanks, and that's why it's not my personal favorite. It's the crypto industry and tech portfolio option income ETF. And while I do love crypto, this thing is just not doing well. Started out at $55, found some consolidation around the $35 mark, and that's kind of where it's sitting now. But it did go back up to 41, but it didn't have the bounce back that CHPY or GPTY had. Now, last couple of distributions, we had 43.5 cents, we had 45 cents, 41 cents, and 45 cents. So very solid. Can't complain about the yield. It's a very high yielder, but I do wish that we would have more consistency in the price rather than just a consistent yield that's very high, but falling overall NAV or net asset value. That's why LFGY is not one of my favorites. Let me know if you like it down in the comments. This is the first of 3 0DTE covered call strategy ETFs. They're all relatively similar, but this one is on the NASDAQ. The underlying indices is the main factor that changes. We can see it's small, 12 million AUM, dividend yield of about, it says 15%. They have been trading for a bit longer now, so I imagine it's closer to the 30% range. But all in all, these ones are just less popular. I'm not sure why. I like 0DTE. They have a lot more variability. One of my favorite funds right now, ticker TSPY or TSPY by Tap Alpha, uses 0DTEs but pays monthly, and it's been doing extremely well. So 0DTE, they have a lot of flexibility with it, a very cool way of doing an option strategy. But overall, I just think that these are less popular because they yield a little bit lower. Last couple distributions, we had 27 cents, we had 19 cents, we had 19 cents, and 28 cents. So it does vary quite a bit, the movement of these. But again, just less popular. I wouldn't mind it if they have a lower yield, use 0DTE calls, and stay more consistent with their price, as we did see with QDTE go from $37 up to $45. Not a ton of growth, but definitely something to consider if you're looking for a bit of growth and dividends combined. Now on to our next 0DTE ETF. For those that may wonder, what is 0DTE? It stands for 0 days till expiration. And what that means is that they're writing calls that are ending or expiring that same day. It has a lot of alpha in that strategy, has good premiums, and gives you more flexibility on how the day is going and what you can kind of predict. And I'm impressed. I think that YieldMax putting these out, definitely they're just trying to compete with Roundhill. They have 3 0DTE option strategies as well, the same indices as well. But they're good. They're solid. They get a little bit less credit, but I mean, RDTY, very, very impressed. The yield has been very solid. Low AUM, 7.83 million, very, very low. Dividend yield probably in the 40 to 50% range because it's on the Russell 2000, a higher volatility index. So price-wise, it's bounced around, sitting at around the $45 mark. Last couple of distributions, we can see we had 24 cents, 31 cents, 40 cents, and 45 cents. So a couple of really powerful distributions from RDTY, but it just is less popular. On the S&P 500, we have XDTY, and look at the growth from this thing. It did tank at the beginning of the fund during, this crazy, I wouldn't even call it a crash. I don't know what you'd call it, pullback. Solid pullback that we had in April. Went from $51 all the way down to under 40, but now we're back to 44 and a half even. AUM is 13.5 million. Dividend yield of about 14% currently, probably around 28. I'd probably double it. Looks like it started trading February 10. First dividend was February 20. So we're almost to a year, so maybe even a little bit less than that. But I am impressed with these. Like I said, the zero DTE strategies are a bit safer, in my opinion, and it seems that these ones are holding up a lot better than some of the other ones. Now, that was our 3 zero DTE strategies. Let's see how ULTY has been holding up. Another bad day for ULTY, down 0.71%. I'm very disappointed in this one. $3.16 billion AUM, dividend yield about 80%. It is not 130%. It is not. It's not 130%. That's trailing 12 months. It hasn't factored in the price drop. No. I've seen some channels saying that it's 130%. It's not. And now I've also been getting comments saying, oh, why don't you talk about ULTY anymore? I do talk about it. I talked about it in my video yesterday. The problem is if I talk about one fund a lot, people start commenting, why are you only talking about this fund? And then if I don't talk about a fund, they say, why aren't you talking about this anymore? So I have been reading those comments, and negative comments are good. I honestly believe that they help me. They give me some opinions, some feedback, and I do appreciate them when they're especially given in a constructive format, not in calling me dumb format, which seems to be a popular way, a more popular way. But I mean, that's the way it goes when you're on YouTube. But honestly, I've been thinking it's really interesting how ULTY's performance has been. I really hope that it can bounce back. I'm not sure if it's just because of this climate we're in with the stock market. That seems to be the case. I know that they've been buying more puts, and puts are more expensive, and thus the NAV is falling. We're not getting the dividends that we wanted. I shouldn't say that. The dividends have been staying pretty consistent. We can see we had 10 cents, 10 cents, just about 10 cents, and just under about 9.5 cents now. Another interesting thing is someone commented, wow, all you ULTY fans are losing your minds as it drops under 10 cents. I don't need ULTY to pay out 10 cents per share. I've never said that I did. It was great when it did, but it doesn't have to. I don't mind. It paid out 8 cents initially, and I was still very excited about that. It's a very cheap fund at now $5.63. My average cost, I will say, is $6.20, which is higher. I am still in the green, or I was as of yesterday. And I'm doing something new. If you guys don't know, I don't put my portfolio online. I've started doing that with my second channel. The reasoning is I invest in income ETFs, growth ETFs, and dividend stocks. I have a lot of income-focused assets, and I'm putting that on my smaller channel, Spencer Invests Stocks. It's going to be just a focus on what I'm buying, what I'm investing in, since you guys are asking a lot, instead of my more research-based content that I put on this channel. So if you want to know exactly what I hold, I think the account's valued at like $27,000, just my Roth IRA, not my total investment amount. But go check it out. I'll link it actually at the end of this video and down below for those interested. It was very, very fun, very interesting putting all of my investments out there for people to critique. But let me know what you think. I'd really appreciate it. As for ULTY, I don't know if it's going to come back quickly. I don't know if it's going to slowly drain out. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm in it with you guys currently. I have I initially had $1,000 invested, have more than that at this point, but still. Hopefully we see ULTY bounce back. It is scaring me ever so slightly, but we also have Salty now, which is probably doing relatively well. So all that being said, I'm still a fan. I never recommend anyone be a super fan of any of these ETFs because something can change, the market can switch, and we can start losing money. So trade carefully, but we still do have 2 more ETFs to talk about. 2 of the fan favorites, I will say, YMAG and YMAX. I put a video out yesterday of the 5 weekly income ETFs for my portfolio, meaning like if I had a 5 ETF portfolio, here's the income ETFs I would use. And YMAG has been beating out YMAX. This blew my mind. AUM is lower, 384 million, and a dividend yield of about 50%, which is almost true. In 17 days, we will be at 1 year of weekly dividends from YMAG and YMAX. And I know the price has fallen. It's not looking great. I wonder if YMAX's chart is looking a little bit better. We will see very, very soon. But the last couple distributions, 8 cents, 16 cents, 15 cents, and 12 cents. Not a crazy high payer, and I have held these for a very long time. So we're going to discuss how that impacts our overall total return when we're looking at my returns in this YieldMax portfolio. I actually imagined with YMAX adopting some of the strategies of ULTY that the price would be better. It is not. It is worse. Although the AUM is above 1 billion, which is wild, dividend yield about 67%. Very high yield, but again, that NAV, we have to keep this thing moving upwards with good momentum. Otherwise, I'm just not interested. I do like these funds. I think they're cool. I think weekly dividends are amazing. But when it comes to a fund that consistently loses its NAV over time, I'm not the biggest fan. I might even be negative on my YieldMax position. I believe I bought it in the 16s, which again, if you want to know for sure, oh, if I bought it in the 16s, I'm really negative, maybe 14s. If you want to know for sure, check out that video, link down below for my other account. The last couple dividends, we can see 14.5 cents, 11 cents, 16 cents, and 14 cents. I'm not going to throw too much shade at some of these funds. The market's been really interesting, but I do need better performance if I am going to hold these long-term in my Roth IRA, and I'm sure you guys feel the same. So now we'll look at the best performers, even in this kind of strange market we are in, with our dividend tracking spreadsheet. You might be thinking, there's no way he's held these funds for that long. And to that, I would say, here's our history going back to October of 2024. So not even a full year, but we're closing in on it. And wow, we've seen a ton of dividends. I've also made a video for nearly every single one of these weeks, which is crazy. Tons of content on these funds, and you guys like it, and I enjoy it as well. It's fun to track. That's of course why I'm in doing this, right? We hit 30K subs, it's amazing. But all in all, I'm a data nerd. I'm an investing nerd. So we can see last couple distributions. I did miss last week. I've been updating every other week for the YieldMax portfolio, and I am working on stuff. This spreadsheet is available for purchase for those that want to track your weekly dividends, your monthly dividends, your overall portfolios, and it's been absolutely upgraded. The developer has been doing some crazy things with it, making it really, really useful, and I've been pumped seeing it with my own portfolio because that's how I do track my own dividends, and I've been just kind of amazed. So I hope you guys do enjoy. It is for purchase. It's not for free. The weekly cheat sheet is for free. I do have some free stuff for you guys just as a thank you for the support. But we can see YMAG paid out 73 cents, YMAX 89 cents, both down from the previous week, but they had good previous week, so we're not going to, be too upset. LFGY had a bad week last week and then bounced back to 89 cents. GPTY 58 cents, not terrible. SDTY 38, kind of average. RDTY 90, really good for RDTY. Huge payment, love that. QDTY 57 cents, CHPY 79 cents, not the worst, but it's holding up despite the price drop. The dividends are holding up, so we need CHPY to have that rebound in price. And last but not least, ULTY, $1.67 this week, lower than the previous week by barely. Now, let me mention, this is per $100 invested, roughly. Some have a little bit more, some have a little bit less, because I don't have DRIP. Sorry, I don't have DRIP turned on, but I don't have fractional shares on Moomoo. But I did talk to Moomoo, and they are working on it. Yay, thank you to Moomoo, because getting fractional shares would make this whole process a lot easier, I will say. So, very happy with that. But ULTY, people are screaming about the dividend dropping. I'm okay with it. We're in some interesting times. I'd rather have the NAV hold up than get paid out an insane amount of 80%. Don't get mad at me. I'd be fine with a fund that yielded 40% consistently, even 30% consistently with absolutely zero NAV erosion. It's hard to do. It's definitely higher risk, but I'd be happy with that. So let's see how our dividends panned out the last couple of weeks. All the way to the right, we can see this week we had $7.40 and last week we had $7.48. Not too bad. I also want to mention there's about $900 invested in this account. So I believe we are in the green, but we are going to find out very, very soon. I did also learn recently that this spreadsheet is not available on Max. It doesn't work. Something with the, the formatting with the tickers doesn't work with Excel, which is a bummer. Also, we don't have the weekly pay ETFs on here yet, but they are coming soon. I promise I'm working on it. It's taking a lot of time and a lot of conversations with Excel, and they're probably not happy with me. So we can see we have all 9. They're all laid out here. You can see if you want to pause, take a look at the number of shares, my price per share. Most of these are down price per share wise, which is a bummer, but some are still doing okay. 52-week range showcases the power where these have been. Usually I will use this if I'm looking to buy one at a discount. So currently, if I was looking, I'd look at ULTY, say, is it coming back? Because if it is, I'm going to be buying some more shares. We only have one fund in the red, and that is unfortunately LFGY. But I do have to mention, I bought these at all different times. I'm going to be doing a new challenge where I buy them all at the same point and reset everything to showcase the returns over the same exact time period. But because when I first started this, there was only YMAG and YMAX, couldn't do that then. So very happy with switching things up. That's going to come probably at the end of this year, maybe even a little bit sooner. Overall, though, YMAG and YMAX I've held for a long time, since October. And YMAG is up 19%. YMAX is only up 17.6%. LFGY I bought at the beginning of the year. It's down just about 1%. GPTY still up 8.5%. This is with dividends included, of course, total return, and then market return is not including the dividends. So besides QDTY and CHPY, they are all negative on my initial investment. SDTY is up 3%. Oh, I have to tell you something about this. RDTY is up 15%. QDTY is up 27%. SDTY and RDTY are actually pretty close. The reason it's so different is I bought XDTY on launch at $50 and it tanked to 35 and now is still sitting in the 40s. Whereas RDTY and QDTY, I waited a little bit longer because the market was so red, and then I bought into them. I actually forgot, and I was like, oh, there's more that someone had a comment, oh, you didn't buy all three, and I was like, there's three. And so then I jumped back in and bought them, but it was a few months later, and it's made all the difference. So QDTY is the best performer looking at this right now, but in reality, it's just because of the timing. Also, we can see ULTY and CHPY. Very solid. CHPY is up 17.4% and ULTY is up 25.93%. The overall cost basis on this one for ULTY is $6.28. It's just paid out a lot of dividends, and I had drip on that lowered that cost average, but I am still surprised that it is so in the green. I'll have to take a look and triple check that, but still very solid. It's doing really well. I'm kind of surprised even with the last drop in price. Now to the cost basis and market value. I did pause. I ran the numbers. It's accurate. I'm still just surprised that ULTY has held up that well, but it really is because I had a lower cost basis with drip being on initially when I invested into ULTY, and it's paid out a ton of dividends. So we can see YMAG and YMAX. I have $115 cost basis for YMAG. It's worth $93. $110 for YMAX, and it's worth $82. Not great. All of these are kind of like that. LFGY, $106 starting, worth $70 now. And that is overall a bummer. Some of these are doing well, though. We have QDTY, $79 starting and $86, $87 currently, $10 plus, almost $8 plus. And CHPY, $103.66, now worth $104.16. So yeah, you could say I'm a bit of an investor. That is like a 0.5% return. Let's go. And ULTY, I'm down about 11%, but the dividends make up for it. Total dividends received. We have YMAG and YMAX sitting at crazy numbers, $45, $47 since I started investing, of course. LFGY and ULTY are gaining on them very quickly. They're higher yielders, but the NAV problem has been a bit scary. But all in all, I'm impressed with all of these. My favorite standing out right now, CHPY, is a big one. I do think it's going to do well, and I'm a fan of semiconductors, so I'm biased. I think ULTY will bounce back. I do. I don't think it's going to stay at these levels forever. If it falls below the support of that 520 range, then I'll get really scared, and you'll see me talking about it on the channel for sure. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to say thank you again for 30,000 subscribers. You guys are absolutely amazing. If you like this video, make sure to check out my website, spencerinvest.com, where you can pick up this tracking spreadsheet for your own portfolio, and my smaller account, Spencer Invest Stocks, to see exactly what I'm holding, what I'm buying, and so much more. Thank you so much. Check out these videos popping up on your screen right now. Be sure to enjoy them, like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.